after my divorce, I was going to experience moments of loneliness, times when I felt really alone. That's normal, right? But something happened last week that made me feel more alone than I have ever felt. It wasn't a song, it wasn't a movie, it wasn't eating all by myself, which can tend to be kind of lonely as it is, but it happened with something I just didn't even think about. Welcome to my colorful life after a great divorce. My name's Regan, also known as the Easy Ex-Wife. And on this channel, we talk about anything and everything regarding divorce and dating and just living single in your 50s and beyond. So here is what happened. I was cooking, I was distracted, and bam, I cut my finger. And it was not a little cut. It was a bad cut, like gushing blood kind of cut. But it wasn't the pain of that cut that crushed me. It was the extreme wave of loneliness that happened after I cut myself. As I stood there bleeding and alone, it made me realize just how much I was carrying all on my own. I had no one to call, I had no one to help me, and I had no one to just say, oh, you're gonna be okay. And I had no one to help me wrap up the wound. And it also made me realize that I need to invest in a first aid kit, which I did not have. And I'm just about healed, and I'll put up a picture of how I wrapped it up. But this is something that if there was someone else in the house, they would have been able to help me. So it's very difficult to wrap up a thumb with one hand. And because I didn't have any first aid kit with me, what I did was I just took some paper towel and I held it. I did direct pressure for probably about 10 minutes. And, you know, I saw the paper towel bleeding through, but after a while I figured I had done enough direct pressure where the bleeding stopped. So I took it off and I was like, oh, not bad. And I went to just get more paper towel and it started gushing again. I have a white countertop and blood is dripping. And, you know, not only is it gross and I have to deal with it myself, but, you know, there was just no one there to help me wrap it up. So I took a paper towel, I did the direct pressure again, and then you guys are gonna laugh. And I think I do have a picture of it. I will put it up over here so you can see what I did. To tape it up, I used duct tape. Wrapped it around. And so I did the direct pressure, then I wrapped the duct tape. I did not want to take off the paper towel. But it just, I don't want any of you guys to pity me out there, but it just made me feel really, really sad and alone. And it had nothing to do with the pain, although it was kind of painful. So I wrapped it up as best I could, and then Fiona needed to go out for a walk, so I did take her down, and I was explaining to a couple of the guys at the front desk what had happened, and they were really sweet. One of them went to the first aid kit that they have in the building, and when I got back from my walk with Fiona, he had some of that glue to tape a wound back together and some band-aids, so that was really sweet. But I didn't want to take off the wrap because I just didn't want it to start bleeding again. And I came back up to my apartment and I thought, man, this has hit me at a time when I just wasn't expecting it. I really thought the loneliness would happen when I just had nothing to do, or I was eating by myself, or like I said, you know, a song or a movie. I thought that would bring it on, because I had already experienced that a little bit, just waves of that here and there. And I guess I felt like, wow, I'm dealing with, loneliness and being alone pretty well, because it hasn't really hit me that hard until I cut myself. Ooh, yum. What are you guys drinking out there? Hopefully something yummy. Yeah, and so I taped it up, and okay, what I did do was I reached out to my friend John the fireman. No, not the love bombing fireman. There's another guy who works at the fire station, and I'll talk about him a little bit more another time, but because I have something I need to confess to you guys. Maybe in the next video I will. But anyway, so I have become pretty good friends with this guy, John, down at the fire station, and I texted him and just told him what had happened, or I asked him if he was there at the station, because, you know, I know they have a huge, first aid kit, and they all go through all the first aid training. Not that I haven't been through first aid training, but I kind of wanted a professional besides a doctor to just take a look at it, make sure I didn't need stitches. There is an urgent care right below this building, which is super convenient, but I didn't want to go to urgent care if I didn't need to. So I showed John how I taped it up, and I told him, that it was throbbing a little bit, and he said, loosen it up a tiny bit. And so I did, and then I didn't check it again until the next morning. Oh, but I did have to wash my face, and so then I wrapped saran wrap around it, put a rubber band around that so that I could wash my face. But I haven't washed my hair since I did it because it's still been hurting until today. Now it feels pretty good. I feel like it could break open again, but it seems it's been, how long? It's been about 5 days. So I think it's good. I am going to wash my hair today at some point. But I don't know. I want to hear from you guys. What brought on a wave of loneliness for you, or feeling alone? Because I do think loneliness and being alone are two different things. And, I experienced both at the same time. And I want to know, after post-divorce, when did you really feel it? Because I think I thought I would feel it more when I was just separated, but I didn't really feel it then. And then I started feeling a little bit after the divorce papers were signed, which was 7 months ago, 8 months ago, something like that. And, it's hard. Being divorced is hard. And that feeling of loneliness just adds to just the pain that you go through with a divorce. The other thing that goes through your mind when you hurt yourself and you're all alone and there's nobody to reach out to is you start to think, what if something even more serious happened? And not that I couldn't handle it. If something more serious happened and I couldn't even get myself to urgent care, I would call 911. We all know how to do that. So, but the thought that there's no one there to, drive me to the hospital, take care of me once I'm out of the hospital, those kind of things, that just really hits hard after a divorce, especially a gray divorce. Because after a gray divorce, it's obvious you're just getting older and your body doesn't feel the same way it did when you were in your 20s. So this whole experience just made me realize how, I'm trying to heal from not only a wound, but I'm trying to heal from something that really, truly broke me. That is the divorce. So it also gave me this feeling of real emptiness. And I want to know from you guys, after you got divorced, or maybe you're separated now, what was it? What happened to make you feel an extreme wave of loneliness? Was it something like this where you hurt yourself? Or was it something simpler like a song on the radio? So tell me in the comments below. You guys know I love to hear from you. You know it, you know it. So leave a comment down below. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button, because our little small and mighty community is growing a little bit, and I would love to see it keep growing, because I think all of us collectively have been really helping each other out and lifting each other up, and that is what this channel is all about. I hope that I can help each and every one of you out there, even if it's just a little bit. I hope I can provide maybe just a tiny bit of entertainment, but whatever this channel provides for you, I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being here. I love each and every one of you, and I hope you have the best day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. There's my girl, my sweet Fiona.